Y'all want beef, but y'all don't want bullets. Y'all want the diss records. Y'all say, yeah, rap is fun again. But when Drake's security guard gets shot, now it's like, oh, it's going too far. Y'all want to be entertained, but at what cost? That's the problem, is hip-hop culture has normalized this. And it ain't nothing but another story in the news cycle to a lot of people. The same media outlets that buck this up and egg this on, now they're going to come out and be like, well, it's gone too far. You can't micromanage beef. That's crazy if you think that. Y'all clown people who don't want to be a part of this type of stuff. Y'all say people are clout chasers who talk out against this type of behavior within the culture. We need accountability. We need to throw the whole hip-hop culture away and rebuild it from scratch. And keep the aspect that's healthy about it, but do away with the toxic elements, yo. All the fans who like to see this stuff, but then who want to say, well, this is disconnected. You have a spirit of delusion inside of your brain. If you think this is disconnected from all these people that this man been beefing with, and you don't think that any of that could have anything to do with this, it's like you have a spirit of delusion inside of your brain and you got to do better. If you a hip-hop media outlet and you done lived through this type of stuff before and you know what it could lead to, you got to do better, you heard me? As a culture, we got to say it's 50 years of hip-hop, it's time to throw it all away and keep what's healthy, but do away with what's bad, man. Because this is not what hip-hop should be about.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and by the day, I am starting to not like this dude. Now, I think he's a Christian rapper or some such. He goes on these conspiratorial rants about Hollywood or the music industry wanting your bussy in exchange for a record deal, all this dumb monkey shit. Right now, the problem that I have with him and people like him, namely niggas like Teray. The problem with what he's saying is that we want beef and we want the diss records, but we don't want the bullets. Sir, no beef in hip hop ever resulted in bullets. Let me just clarify that. A lot of people like to think Tupac and Biggie's murder has something to do with the East or West Coast propaganda propagated by the Vibe magazine. It didn't. Tupac stole on a high-ranking Crip gang member. They located him later on at night and smoked him. If you ask me, I think the FBI was involved in his assassination, but that's another issue for another time. What I will say, it had nothing to do with Biggie Smalls at all. Biggie wasn't in Vegas. I don't think Biggie got the drop on him. And I don't think that they Tupac's diss record enraged Biggie that much where he wanted to kill him. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. Same thing with Biggie. Now, I do think Biggie's death was a result of Tupac's death, but not because of Tupac's death. All the people that don't know what the fuck I meant by that, don't even stress your brain. It's going to overheat trying to think. What I mean is, Tupac was killed by a separate incident that had nothing to do with Biggie or the East or West Coast confrontation. And I genuinely believe that someone in Suge Knight's death row camp was given orders to get rid of Biggie. If our biggest star ain't around, yours can't be either. I think it was a rival thing that our star artist is gone, so yours has to be too, right? It just makes sense. I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying. But I don't think it was necessarily connected to whatever beef that Tupac was trying to get started. Now, I lived through the 90s and I saw that shit, read every Vibe magazine interview that was on MTV or BET. I've heard every diss record that Tupac did. I've heard every record Biggie did. I can affirmatively say there was no such thing as an East or West Coast rivalry. Like, it wasn't. Tupac did records with Method Man, Redman. It escapes me at the present moment, but he did records with several East Coast rappers. A Buckshot from Duck Down Cruiser, just to name a few. So it wasn't like it was an East-West Coast thing. That was something that Vibe had actually penned it because they were trying to sell magazine covers. And it was basically bullshit, right? I was 13 at the time, but even I could see that bullshit. They were trying to sell magazines, so they worded it where it sounded sensational. It was further from the truth. So anybody that thinks that the Drake Kendrick Lamar thing is going to resort to bullets is either delusional or ignorant. Now, I don't know how old this dude is. I'm assuming he's like in his mid-20s or early 30s. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Let me just simplify it. He don't know what he's talking about. There's never been a beef in hip-hop that resulted in gunfire. Jadakiss and Benny Siegels didn't result in gunfire. LL and Cannabis didn't result in gunfire. Hell, even Slim Shady, Cannabis, Everlast, and several other rappers that he dissed resulted in gunfire. Hell, 50 Cent and Ja Rule Murder Inc. didn't result in gunfire. I mean, 50 got shot. It had nothing to do with Ja Rule, though. So, like, I hate people like this. They just say stuff because I don't know. I think this guy has been rubbed the wrong way. He didn't get a record deal, and I think he's disgruntled. Him and people like the likes of Jaguar Wright, disregard them. I don't listen to them. Like, they're just mad, to simplify it. And then we got people like QuestLove saying nobody won the war. This wasn't about skill. This was about wrestling match level mudslinging and takedown by any means necessary. Women and children and actual facts be damned. Same audience wanting blood will soon put up RIP posts like they weren't part of the problem. Hip hop is truly dead. No, it's not, sir. You're just 50 something years old, staying to the road, or the fuck around, get a step to the side. Nobody cares. You wasn't saying that shit when Jay-Z was dissing Nas and Nas was going back with Jay-Z, or hell, even when LL was dissing Cannabis, sir. These are like, I hate these old and these young people. Everybody in between, like between 35 and 47, ain't on this stupid shit. It's just people that's in their 20s, like the young dude. And then you got old heads like QuestLove. He's like 55. So you're AARP status. Go sit your old ass down somewhere. In any event, y'all like this episode, you know what to do. And I'm out. No.